the hot edition, the heat wave edition of Reaper Pro Tips with me, your host, and Disembodied Hands Queen, Disembodied Beard John, and all of you. Hi. Oh, dearie me. Yeah, happy July 3rd. Indeed, Twistoma, indeed. I bowed out of the CrossFit workout tomorrow. I went last night, and I was so happy I did. It was my favorite exercises. Everybody else was like, oh no. I was like, yay! And they were all like, it was all rowing. Rowing and presses, and those are my favorites. So I was like, it's my favorite! Even though I'm short, and short people do not row very well, because the rowing machine wants you to have very long limbs. The people with long limbs and good musculature do the best on the rowing. But I kept up, damn it, and I did okay. Yeah, right, Kiki? Kiki's like, it's going to be another hot day, isn't it, Mama? Yeah, it is. It hit 101 here yesterday, guys. 101. But yeah, we weathered it. In the very, very hottest part of the afternoon, when the house got over 80 degrees inside, then we went into the bedroom, Kiki and I, and I put up a box on the dresser and used it for a standing desk, and Kiki hung out, and then we both took a power nap in the nice cool air, since that's where our little tiny AC is. Let me put this back. We're going to work on the red today, and the leather, maybe the gold. But yeah, it's very, it's been very, very hot. So we're just kind of soldiering on. Today is supposed to be, well, it was supposed to be not that hot, but yesterday it wasn't supposed to get to 101 either. So today it says 97, which is what it said yesterday. So I'm going to assume 101. And then it's supposed to drop off by 5 degrees tomorrow and Friday, which would be nice. It would be nice. It would make it a little bit more bearable in the afternoon. So, yeah, heat advisory for sure. Luckily, our humidity... Oh, humidity's low today, only 40%. That's great, because it means it should... the temperature should really drop off fast this afternoon. Yeah, much faster than it did last night. Hypothetically. But yeah, so... Yeah, you've got the humidity. That's the problem, Twisted Omo, with you've got the heat index. Yeah. I mean, I remember being in Texas. It was a long time I was in Texas dealing with that. Here, at least, we just have it for like a week at a time. Not even, usually. It's just a few days. So, that's fine. It keeps my heat tolerance level up. I mean, it was 85 when I went to CrossFit last night, guys. Like, the gym does not have AC. So it's just our big barn fans. Just like we used to use at Reaper. So it was fun though. I really loved the rowing. I wish I had the space and the money for a rowing machine, because I really do enjoy it. But alright, so let's see. We used Orchid plus Heraldic Red, so I'm gonna go straight to the Heraldic Red. Where is it? There it is. And we're going to get this red brought up. And then we'll work on the leather a bit. I feel like it needs to actually go a bit darker, because it's not showing up very well on the front, the belt there. And that's the only leather. And then we need to work on his weapon. And I need to do his eyes, so... But yeah, working out, I mean, it's bad when 85 feels tolerable, because the rest of the day has been 100. Okay, so let's get this Heraldic Red. I'm going to thin it down. I'm only going to put 1 drop of water into 4 drops of paint to start with, because reds can go very very weak, very fast. As you all know, having worked with reds, they have better coverage than yellows and oranges, but not by a lot sometimes. Depends on what red you're working with, what red pigment you are working with specifically. Reds like cadmium red, which we don't use because now we go for non-toxic, and then pyrrole red. Those two have higher coverage. We use, this paint is built in a high density pigment base, so it is better than the standard. But I'm going to see how well it covers over this dark red. Usually, as we've learned, right, with our Harefolk, which we will be back to on Monday, because remember, no stream tomorrow and the next day. But as we've learned with our Harefolk, you can take red up from that dark substrate, but it takes a little bit of work, right, to get it to go up like that. So we shall see if I can get this to be a nice vibrant red. I probably will take it a little bit higher than I did on the Orc, because I want him to be somewhat bright. The only reason I started dark, because I did want him to be kind of saturated, is that I wanted the contrast from the orange, right? So by making this a dark base coat, even though it means it's going to be harder for me to bring out my bright red, it's nonetheless going to give me an extra level of contrast, because essentially it serves as underpainting then. By underpainting with a darker color than I actually want, and leaving that just to be the shadows, I can still make the orange be very distinct from the red. Since they're together on the color wheel, since they're next to each other on the color wheel, this is important, because they wouldn't necessarily look great together without the light-dark contrast. I'm planning to do Saturday, I think, Turgeon. Assuming it's not too horribly hot. It is, I was going to show you guys. Haha, I have it set up, but I haven't turned it on yet, because I don't know what the noise is going to be like, but we're going to experiment later. I have, hold on. It's all like interweaving with my models on the other side of here. It's a tiny fan. It's so cute. Look, it's a tiny fan. It's adorable. So yeah, I have my tiny fan here with me. On the low setting, I don't think it's going to be too much noise, and I'm putting it behind my mic. So the hope is that I will be able to use tiny fan streaming on the weekend, and it will keep me sane, and I'll still be able to stream. That's the plan. That's the plan. Actually, you should just try it now. Hold on. I'll turn on the low setting. So listen to me now and see if you guys can hear anything when I turn it on. One sec. Can you hear anything? Awesome. Yeah, because I got this beautiful, cool breeze in my face right now. If I turn it up, I bet you would. But I don't need it there. So yeah, so then yes, it's much more likely then that I will stream on Saturday. That tiny fan, guys, is the best dang investment I've made in the last year. Like, honestly, it's really quiet, as you can see, and like, it made yesterday so much nicer. Like, when I had to go in the TV room to do my exercises and stuff, which, that's a pretty close... It's a small room, and it doesn't get a lot of ventilation. In hot weather, it's got nothing. So it does get warm. But I brought my little fan, and it plugs into USB. So I just brought my laptop, and I plugged it into my laptop, and I put it on the floor next to me while I was doing my exercises. And it made it so much better. Just had it blowing on my face while I was doing it, and it just like improved everything. So you can see, just with one layer, there is a difference here. So what we do then, I'm leaving kind of that crease down the middle, but I want to hit this area again, and then the edge again. Now it's really starting to come up. So yeah, tiny fan is in. Great. Yeah, and it was very cheap. Super, super cheap. I think it was the Amazon pick. It's all plastic, but it's just a little tiny USB powered fan. And yeah, it's just so nice because then when I'm in here too in the afternoon, it gets hot in here. If I'm using my standing desk, I can make it more tolerable. I'm so happy about it. They should all be going there, Jetta, unless stuff has interrupted the normal progression of things. So now I've got a little bit of there, I've got a fold here, and I've got a little fold here, so I'm going to leave my darks in between. And as I bring this up, we'll see the folds come out more. Right now we just see the folds as a very subtle dark shadow here, but I will be bringing this red up, probably by adding a little bit of white to it, just like the orange. Tonight, thank God, is a night off. I did 2 nights of running where I did 3 miles each time. And then I did CrossFit last night. So tonight is lazy night. So I probably will still take a walk, but just a walk. Maybe I'll take my exercise bands with me and try to do pull-ups. Depends on how hot and miserable it is at 8 p.m. People look at me funny when I'm taking a walk with my exercise bands like slung around my neck, but it's the most comfortable way to carry them. I told David that he's definitely going to the 4th of July party we have tomorrow, like, without me. Because with it being so hot, there's no way I'm gonna leave Kiki here in a closed up house. Like, there's no way. So I was kind of waffling over the decision, because she'd probably be fine with the fireworks, to be honest. We had a bit of fireworks this past weekend, and she didn't even notice them. Like, one of the neighboring communities was doing a fireworks thing. We were still hearing the pops and the sizzles. She didn't even seem to take notice of it. But if it's going to be like 94, if the house is going to be over 80 degrees, and if I'm not there to open up everything, then it's going to stay. It's going to stay that hot, and I just don't think that's very good. I'd much rather be here. So David can go to the 4th of July party. We never get to see fireworks anyway because it's in San Francisco. And when you hit, like, evening in San Francisco, like, say, 8 p.m., when it's starting to, the sun is starting to go down, mist just pours over the hills and sweeps down and smothers the city. So we never, ever see any fireworks until we actually drive through San Francisco on our way home. And then as we emerge out of the pocket of the city, then we see fireworks out over the water. Yeah, that makes sense, Laura. Like, just 5 minutes. 5 minutes 5 minutes is a great start because it at least engages your muscles. Although, do warm up. Although sometimes a warm up can be its own workout. I know when I started CrossFit, the warm up that we do, like, was so hard for me it was sometimes even harder than the workout because I was so out of shape. It just proved to me how out of shape I was. I still use most of that workout here at home when I'm doing my working out. You could try it. like, it's really easy. It's, the first part of it that I do is 25 jumping jacks, and then 25 scissor jacks, which is the front and back jumping jacks. And then you do 6 air squats, 6 push-ups, and 6 sit-ups, and you do 2 rounds of that. So 2 rounds of 6 air squats, and usually they're hand release push-ups. So you go down, you release your hands, you go back. So you're not trying to do push-ups consecutively or to hold your body above the floor for, more than one push-up. And then after that, it's mountain climber stretches with one knee forward and your leg stretched back to stretch out your groin muscle and your hip. And then pigeon pose from yoga. I do about 3 mountain climbers on each leg alternating, and then 3 pigeons on each leg alternating. And after that at CrossFit, we normally do a bunch of skipping, side hustle, grapevine, a whole bunch of stuff that I don't have room for in my garage. So instead, I usually do the squat and reach. So you do an air squat, but you stay at the bottom. You put your one hand down onto the foot on that side, like your left hand onto your left foot, and then you reach from squatting position with your other arm. And you do 5 on each side to stretch out your shoulders. It's a really good warm-up, and it doesn't take that long. I usually finish with another set of jumping jacks and scissor jacks just to make sure. If I don't feel like I'm warm at that point, I'll do another set. Yeah. Cat, cows, and bird dogs. You could try a Superman too, although I don't know if that's too much. Maybe it is too much. Bird dogs are nice though. That's what I open with. What you describe is exactly what I open with in the morning. After I get out of bed, before I take my shower. I do 5 slow cat cows and 5 bird dogs on each leg. And then I do a downward dog and a bridge. Or not a bridge. Freaking heck. The thing where you're holding yourself above the ground. I don't remember. My brain is gone. Plank. That's what I do. You could probably manage a downward dog. But yeah, whatever you do, I'm sure is going to be good. Any movement is good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I find the plank is pretty good that way too, because you're supposed to hold your abs in, but you're not doing anything active to your back. You're just requiring it to stay straight. But I don't know if the weight of that is too much for you. So I'm just going to keep layering and layering and layering, guys. I'm using the heraldic red, and I'm using it 4-to-1, and I'm not changing it at all. I'm just continually adding more coats. Usually 3 or 4 coats. The more you put on, the more you get that kind of candy enameled look. That's what I did on Sisters of Battle long ago. The other one I really like now is the 100 from Pilates to work on abs. That's usually the end cap of my morning yoga. It's hard, but it's a passive ab workout. And your back is nailed to the floor, or it should be, so it's my back never hurts after I do it. My abs are ready to kill me. Hey, Zachariah. Lately, the other thing my back really loves is knees to chest stretches. I can't get my knees all the way to my chest, but I do what I can. It helps to stretch out my lower back. It actually really feels good. All right. Oh, I need to back up because I am not staying on camera, so. That, and honestly just trying to make sure, like, every time I am sitting, I try to consciously tense up my abs just a little to support my back and encourage good posture. So as we bring that red up, it's going to get brighter. But yeah, honestly, just adding, like, it only takes me, like, I don't know, 5 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes in the morning to do my yoga. But yeah, even that little bit helps so much. So good luck to you, Laura. I hope it helps you as much as it helped me. I can hold my plank for over a minute now. Took me a long time to build to that. Though I don't know that that was because I needed to be stronger. I think it was honestly just me being like humans everywhere and being uncomfortable with being uncomfortable. Like, we have this tendency to just flee discomfort and to not believe that we can do it when we really can. It's just that we don't like being in discomfort. My brain totally does that to me. And that's not just physical discomfort, although it totally does apply to that, but it's also like when we're learning something new, discomfort. Our brain doesn't like to be in that state. And that's why sometimes it fights us. And that includes painting stuff. It gets us out of our comfort zone. We can start to think, oh, this is too much trouble, I can't do it. Really, that's just the brain chattering at you because it doesn't like being uncomfortable. It thinks uncomfortable is dangerous. It's a silly brain. Everybody's got a silly brain. It's what I have to tell my brain when I'm trying to run recently. It's like, silly brain, I am not going to die. My coach Ellie is also, CrossFit coach Ellie is also trying to start running. She's doing it much more quickly escalating than me, though. She's already almost up to running 2 minutes, and part of that is she does sprints too. I am not there yet. I am just trying to do enough to lose weight, to help me lose weight, so that I can do more without getting injured. Kiki's like, oh, mom's still streaming. Probably if I can get down to below 160, then I won't have to worry. They say if you're more than 30 pounds overweight, you should be very careful with starting running. Probably, if you're very overweight, you should start with just walking, which I've done for years, right? But now I can see the finish line. I could get down to below to 160 if I just keep with this no junk food diet. Though the cookies were calling me hardcore yesterday. I used to just there's the grocery store that I love has the hateful practice of putting fresh baked cookies out at the end of the belt that you put your food on at the when you're going to the checkout belt. Yeah, so there's a wire cage or a wire box of fresh baked cookies of all different flavors on the end of every one of those, which is pretty evil, pretty darn evil. And I do love one of them, one flavor. I can resist all the flavors except I love the Almond Joe, which is kind of like a combo oatmeal chocolate chip with chopped almonds. It's so tasty. So I had gotten in the habit of just plunking one of those into my basket, and so I had to fight the habit yesterday because I was seriously, it's because the heat is stressing me out because of Kiki and because it disrupts my routine. So, and because it's just unpleasant, right? So it just puts this stressor on me, this mild stressor, and then of course the stress eating wants to kick in, right? So I had to fight it yesterday. I didn't have to deploy my secret trick yet. My not so secret trick. Which is to look at the thing and say poison in my head. Which works, by the way. At least for me, it works wonders. If I look at it and I label that thing as something that is harmful to my health, which it is technically, then it's easier for me to resist it. I used it to great success when I was on the ketogenic diet. Hey there, Iffy. Long time no see. Yeah, indeed. We're in the middle of the heat wave here. All right, so I think I've got this red up enough. You can all see how vibrant it has come. But now it's almost a little bit oversaturated. Everything else here has had a little bit of white added to it, right? The orange, the blue, the purple. The red is not, and so it's reading a little bit off. And so we are going to take our heraldic red, and we're going to add a tiny bit of white to it. I'm going to transfer it over into a new well to do that. Oh, did it work? Awesome, Zachariah. Yeah, if you can talk your brain, convince your brain that it's that thing is poison, is going to hurt you, your brain will take care of it. Your subconscious mind will go, oh, all right, because it believes what you tell it. I'm so glad it worked for you. I have found it a super effective tool. If nothing else, if I really, really am doing, I just have to think poison at it and walk away. And over time, I could walk by the whole box of fresh donuts on the Reaper break room table, and I could just stop and lean over it and inhale, and I didn't even want it. ADHD, yeah, it works. I mean, that happens, right? You go chasing down all the inputs. All right, so I'm going to, my camera is very crooked today. I'm going to add just a tiny bit of white. So we're going to squeeze a little bit out of the nozzle here, just a tiny bit. And then we're going to plop that half of a drop, for lack of a better measuring tool, onto that. And we're going to add a drop of water. Too many snacks at the game store. Yep. It also helps if you bring a healthy snack. Having a snack isn't a big deal if you're a little bit peckish. I do nuts now because I need the vitamins and minerals. Especially the minerals. Nuts are so mineral rich. And a lot of us don't get a lot of that in our diet. So the thing is that it has to be a nut mix that I don't adore. My grocery store has Thai curry cashews. Oh my god, those things are addiction. There are addiction central, so I have to avoid those. But like if I just get regular mixed nuts, I'll even let myself throw a little bit of sesame sticks in there because I love sesame sticks. And my grocery store has a Hatch chili flavored nut mix, so I'll mix that together. So I'll make my own custom nut mix, and then I'll just bring a little bit of that. Oh, nice. Yeah, organizing the hobby room just feels so good anyway. I'm about to get rid of a bunch of models. Iffy. I organized my closet because it was starting to weigh on me. I'm going to do this a little thicker, actually. So we're aiming for that kind of like lightish red strawberry color. There we go. And this is like, it's pink, but if we use small touches of it, the red is going to continue to read as red. Oh yeah, it made you really grumpy. Yep, I bet, Quindy. Use the poison trick. Use the poison trick. Yeah, the problem is sugar makes you want more sugar. And then it makes you eat more. And then that's the real bad thing, is the too many calories. Over time, that just becomes really bad for your body. I have learned. I'm learning too much about the health behind some things, and I'm like, oh noes. If you like science and you would like to be scared crapless about what you've been doing to your body, read Peter Attia's book Outlive. It's about longevity, but it's also about like what we do that like totally destroys longevity. So it's a good book because it gives you some good tips. He's a little out there on some stuff just because he's like a ridiculous self-experimenter. Like he doesn't usually do anything to his patients that he hasn't tried himself. But I love his philosophy on food. I love, love, love it. Because he's like, it doesn't really matter what you eat, except that if you're eating a lot of sugar, you're going to probably crave more sugar and overeat. But some people can really tolerate carbs. He's just like, you know what? It doesn't matter what you eat, just you need to eat. You need to not overeat, essentially. And if you really want to live longer, you need to exercise. He's of the opinion that the main problem with us, with the reason we're having so many health problems, is that people don't exercise and they eat too much. And there we go. Is that rocket science? No, it's not. Although he does have all the science to back it up in the book, so. Which is nice, you know, because you can think, oh yeah, of course that's the problem. But then you don't know why. You don't know that, you know, your muscles are actually huge sinks for excess glucose in your bloodstream and stuff like that. 24 and maybe, oh my god, yeah, they're all the smelling of donut-y deliciousness. Yeah, ugh. Oh, you're organizing too, Laura. That's awesome. Yay. I need to go and just nuke my desktop. Like, I need to go back there, pull everything off of it, and put away most of it. You know the feeling? Just get rid of it. So much crap hanging out back there. All right, now I want to do I did a little bit of that highlighting down on this area. And you can see how it kind of flattens it out, right? Like we've got this really, it mutes it a little. And if we want to bring back a brighter red, we can always glaze. So, but it also, like you can see the folds better down here now, right? And you can't see them, you know, you can't see the details so well on this bright red. So putting just little touches of pink, and yeah, I could go up with orange, but I don't want to because the orange is right here. So if I highlight with orange on this red, it's going to bring it too close to this orange, and then they're going to start to blend together visually, and I don't want that. I want them to stand out and be separate from each other. So that's why I'm going up with white instead of yellow or orange on the red. But yeah, organizing the desktop is really good. I sent a picture. You guys who were on my stream last Saturday know that I started work on Jason's pugling, Jason Weebies, and I sent him pictures of our starting progress. Our starting progress, which looks very puggish. Looks a lot like his model pug, the pug that the model is based on. So that's probably what we'll be working on Saturday, assuming that I'm not dying of heat prostration by then. I think David and I are going furniture shopping this weekend at some point, maybe Friday, since I took it off. But his parents have complained that we have no comfy chairs essentially in the house. We have like a couch, but that couch has never been terribly comfortable, and Kiki has now claimed it. And otherwise we've just got normal like table, our normal dining room table and chairs, which is what I typically, use to work because I prefer a straight back chair because of my back. But they want comfy chairs, and so we are going to go out and get a couple of comfy chairs for guests. Yes, it is a Jason Weeby Pugling. The big version. There are small versions too. Not sure when Jason's going to get those out. He might get motivated at ReaperCon to do it. I mean, he has to find the energy in addition to all the other stuff he does, right? Just like all of us. But I'm going to try to have this one painted for him. If not by ReaperCon, I will finish it at ReaperCon. Yeah. I have to just pull everything off of it to do it, Turgeon. Like, if I don't pull everything off, then as you say, everything just gets moved around. So I have to pull everything off onto a separate chair or something, or shelf, or combination of that. And then I have to force myself to put things away. Hoping to get a lot of editing done on the book as well this holiday weekend. I like it when I don't have the stream. I tend to be very good about knuckling down on the story in the mornings, which is great. Just gonna add a little bit more highlight to there. Yeah, I think the big ones are just the prototypes right now. Twisted Dome, I'm pretty sure they're not available. But hopefully getting that one painted for him will help spur some interest and get him working on getting it all out there. I know it's a lot of work. I apologize to David in advance last night because I'm going to ask him to grill chicken tonight for dinner, and it's going to be like 95 out. He'll have to like light the grill and flee back inside into the bedroom, and then go out 4 minutes later to check the chicken. I've been trying a lot of dry rubs lately because I don't like any of the, like, I've tried fluid marinades, and I just find that they do not give the same result. Like, all the dry rub stuff, like the dry marinades that I've done, I have worked so much better as far as just putting flavor into the meat. Have you guys found that, or do you, like, find that you've got a good, like, liquid marinade you like? Because I just have not had luck with them. I mean, I usually do a little bit on the counter, but it's not safe to keep it out there, with raw meat. So I do the fridge, usually for a couple of days. Like some meats I find, like if I do fish that way, like there's a butterfish recipe from Hawaii that I do with a miso soy marinade, and that works. But when I try to do chicken thighs, which is what we mostly eat, I just don't have luck. So, but I have great luck with dry stuff. Like I made oh boy, brown sugar and a little bit of brown sugar, mostly regular sugar these days because brown sugar is FODMAP. Oh, time to turn on the fan, guys. It's getting warm back here already, so that bodes ill for the day. But it's chipotle, ancho, smoked salt, brown sugar, little bit of oregano, cumin, standard Southwest, pretty much. But that rub worked so well. The chicken was so good. And so tonight I'm trying one that I've used it's made for duck breasts. But I love the flavor, and so does David. So I've decided, chicken thigh, not that far off. It's still a more fatty cut of poultry. So I'm hoping it'll work. But this one is really good. It's salt, sugar, orange zest, freshly grated orange zest. So I use the zest of a whole orange, and fresh thyme, and a little bit of cracked pepper. And you want, like, however much, the orange zest is usually the factor that limits, because you want it, after you mix it all together, you want it to kind of feel like coarse sand. And then you rub it, in the case of the duck breast, you rub it in and leave it for a day. So I did that to the chicken thighs last night. I'm hoping that it will be good. But the orange thyme is just like, it's really nice. It's just a citrus chicken that's really refreshing. And it's a little sweet from the sugar, but you aren't using as much sugar as you use salt. So it's not overall a very sweet one, but it gives a little bit of sweetness to it. And then with the duck, you make a port wine sauce, though I don't think I need to do that for the chicken tonight. I think we're going to use it for a salad, because after zesting the orange, I put it in a bag, and I'll use it to make like an orange wedges and feta cheese and pumpkin seed salad tonight. We did strawberry salad last night, the strawberry balsamic with feta cheese and almonds. Fresh, although you can use dried, Polly. I mean, I used dried last night because I didn't want to go outside into the evil hot and totally butcher our poor little thyme plant that needs help right now. I've been fertilizing it in the hope that it will spring back. It went too long without fertilizer. But yeah, normally I use fresh because I've got it, but the thyme plant is not doing so well in the heat lately. So again, if I bring up this red to pink and I want to bring it back, I can just glaze. It's not a big deal. Really, I just want to be able to see my highlights and shadows and the folds, which I can. But yeah, I figured since it was going to be grilled, that dried thyme was going to be fine tonight. We'll check it out and see. It smelled right when I applied it. My biggest problem is that oranges are not in season right now, so finding a good orange was a challenge. But yeah, so we'll see how this one goes. But I'm on the hunt. I'm on the hunt now for really good dry rub recipes that I can use on chicken. I thank God for the air fryer though, because last night I was able to make salmon in the air fryer without heating up the whole house. All right, I think we've got the red. I think it actually looks pretty good. I do think that this belt needs to go darker. I need to start dark and work up with it because I need more contrast through here. So I think I'm going to bring it all the way down to walnut because I've got my walnut open here. And I'm going to paint it over, and then we'll highlight it with that color. Yeah, I like that a little better. Red wine, vinegar, olive oil, garlic. I see. So you do a beginning soak, but then a dry rub. That makes sense that would work pretty well. I never do seasoning for steaks because I am very much a steak purist. Like, I don't know if it's Texas or what, but I only want like salt and pepper on my steaks. And sometimes, before it was grilled onions and mushrooms, now I can have that, but only a tiny bit. But I love my steaks plain, like just salt and pepper, because I love the flavor of the meat. I never do a flavored one. Except for the steak au poivre. The peppercorn crusted tenderloin with the cognac cream sauce. Then I'll accept flavor on my steak. Yeah, I agree, Quindy. Yeah, the air fryer is kind of a savior because we can do green beans in it. You know, we can do a vegetable if we want a hot vegetable. Although I am into, like, it's salad season as far as I'm concerned this week because it's just too freaking hot to have a hot vegetable. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I guess 4th of July is easy because David's gonna be going to the party, so I can go get sushi. Okay, let's get. I want to do the eyes. Usually I find that ruddy leather is the best color for animal eyes, and if I have to bring that up a little bit, I can use a little bit of candlelight yellow or red or yellow ochre. I think I'm going to use candlelight to orange it out a little bit. I used to love A1 so much. I still kind of do, but I think it's got tomato in it, so I dropped it. But I think it was just Texas that taught me that a good steak that's been well seasoned just has a good flavor all its own. But I don't blame you for loving A1 because, like, when we used to, like, when I go to Five Guys, which I don't anymore, but when we used to go to Five Guys, I was all into the A1 steak sauce. That makes sense, Sturgeon. Laura, I'm with you there. But to each their own, right? It depends on what area of the country you live in, too. Like, steak traditions are so different. So the reason I'm using candlelight here instead of lantern is that I do want a little bit of that white in if I'm going to create kind of a lighter iris. And I'm going to paint this. Oh, I've got to totally excavate. I've got dried paint, like, totally stuck this candlelight to, like, totally globbed it shut. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, I'm going to make his entire iris and pupil, because animals. I don't really like giving my animal people actual human eyes most of the time. But I think we did with Harefolk Girl, but I don't want to do it with him, I don't think. We'll see. Maybe a little tiny suggestion of white. Oh boy, my yellow exploded. Exploded yellow. That's way more than I needed. I don't know how it got all pressurized in there. It definitely needs a cleanup. Don't leave your paint to just clog like this. I'm going to clean off the aperture. There. better. Yeah, tomato puree is first ingredient at A1. Yep. Yeah, so not, I cannot do tomatoes, and so ketchup and tomato-based sauces are not in it for me. I will sometimes cheat on that with a tiny bit of barbecue sauce on things, but in general, I try to just do, if I'm doing barbecue, if I'm doing ribs or something, I just try to make the rub really flavorful, and then I find I don't need the sauce. I don't miss it. But that's totally just my dietary stuff. If I didn't have a tomato reaction, I would totally be into the some of those flavorants. Although I always liked my ketchup mixed with mayonnaise. I always liked doing that. All right, so I'm gonna have to make this thicker right off the bat, but this yellow, because there's so much of it, I'll be able to mix into that to lighten it up. So the color, just using the yellow to kind of make it more of a golden brown, like that, to kind of bring some light to the eye. Yeah, I don't like. I'm much less into butter since I went off keto, so I still use it a little bit here and there, but I'm much less of a butter hound. Well, okay, except when there's like when I make my cheat days and there's fresh awesome bread on the table, then it's purely a conveyance device for butter. But most of the time, when I'm being a good Anne, so as you can see, this got very thinned very fast, so I need to reconstitute it. You know, I'm never impressed with steaks anymore. Like, David and I almost never order steak at restaurants unless it comes with a really nice preparation of something, or it's a very interesting preparation, because honestly, I can do it as well at home. Now, if I want the eye to stand out, I'm going to need to lay down a little bit of white first. So I'm going to grab a little bit of that. But yeah, Outback is not really a steakhouse. I mean, it's kind of... I don't know. It's kind of like Ponderosa. It's kind of like... It's not like... I always had a lot more luck with their seafood and chicken than I did with anything else. But you know, it's an okay restaurant. It's not a really good restaurant. I put it in that same class I put Red Lobster. So we're just going to mix up this white for underpainting, so it's going to be a 2-to-1. I want to just put a little bit of light in his eye so that the brown will show up better, because the rich leather is... Oh yeah. Been a while since we've had brats. I like them, but David doesn't. And he likes other types of sausage, like Italian sausage, and I don't. So we're pretty much agree to disagree on a lot of that stuff. Gonna mix a little yellow in to lighten this. That's about the color I want. Kebabs are good. There's a very tasty kebab that I get from our grocery store when I feel lazy. Alrighty, gonna get in here and fill in the eye a little bit. And I'm going to fill in the other eye, and then we're going to put brown. And I'm going to hope that putting this underpaint in will help the brown stand out more. But yeah, when it comes to Friday, I'll have to figure out what we're going to eat depending on how hot it is. Maybe I'll do kung pao shrimp. Been trying to do more seafood lately. Okay, so with that white underpainting, we'll now put the brown down. If I put this ruddy brown over the eyes straight up while they were all really dark, we wouldn't really see the color. Whereas now we can actually see that it is not just black. It would be very hard to get that color, that brown color, to show up. Without that underpaint. Mother's allergic to horseradish. Interesting. Alright, now I'm going to try to put pupil in. It's going to be very hard to see. Because of the dark color of the eyes. Maybe I can pick them up a little bit more by using a little bit of yellow and white and brown. And now I think I might try to put a catch light. So it's just hard to see the pupils and everything else. I want to add a little light to his eyes. And a little shiny. Alright, I think I want a bit of russet brown for the belt to highlight it, since I'm taking this so yellow and brown so yellow anyway. All my paints want to like just splooge a huge amount into the palette today. I don't know what is with them. This fan is totally like game changer. I feel nice and cool even though I know it's getting hot back here. Agreed on that horsey sauce. It's pretty good. I mean, mayonnaise and horseradish mixed together usually don't fail. I have a, what did I do? Oh yeah, I like doing the mayonnaise horseradish Dijon mustard mixture. That's my fave. That makes a killer sauce for roast beef and prime rib. The mustard really brings up the tanginess. It adds something. So I'm just going to highlight top and bottom on the belt. Yeah, I haven't had Arby's in decades either. I don't do fast food anymore. Actually, that's funny for the running thing that I was looking at doing. That was one of their questions, was like, you know, how many of the meals you eat in a given, you know, week are fast food, or a given day. For the most part, I feel like I'm not doing the standard American diet anymore, the SAD as we call it. I used to do, when I first started at Reaper, I did Sonic a lot. I was never a huge fast food eater, but except when I worked at like Six Flags, then it was hard. It doesn't really have a flavor. It's spicy. Like horseradish itself, like has very little actual flavor to it. Like it has a bit, but it's not like. I mean, if you've had the green goo, the wasabi that comes with most sushi, it's not actually wasabi, it's actually green horseradish. So if you know what that tastes like, then you know what horseradish tastes like. Oop, trying to get these little bits, little rivets, studs. I finished reading the first book of that D&D novel, not an actual D&D novel, but a fantasy novel that read like a D&D adventure. I really enjoyed it. The author surprised me. I really enjoyed some of the inventive uses for magic that she came up with. That makes sense, Quindy. I mean, if you got in the habit of avoiding stuff, then you just keep doing it unless you make an effort, right? There have been times I've forced myself to go outside of my comfort zone on something just to try it, but often I just end up going, yeah, meh, and then not having it again. And I'm not a huge wasabi / green horseradish fan. I sometimes will put a little bit of it into my soy sauce for sushi, but often I just won't.
But pickled ginger, oh my god, just give me a jar of that stuff. I'll eat it. Oh, Company of Strangers by Melissa McSomething. 1 second. Get to my Kindle. Go to my thingy. Melissa McShane, I think. Company of Strangers, Melissa McShane. McShane. Now I'm on the second one. It's never as good, like, once the party's together. Like, I feel like, although we're still discovering stuff about the party members. Like, the author is doing a good job of, like, not telling us everybody's secrets in the first book. So now we're into the second book, and I feel like the party members whose secrets we didn't know before, now we're starting to, like, learn a couple of them, or about to. I get that feeling. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, it was like... It's just it was generally a well-written... Like, I could see, if I was going to criticize the author, I could see, like, a couple ways a couple ways they could improve, like, just based on improvements I've made in my own writing. But, it was minimal enough that it didn't bother me, and I really enjoyed the story and the characters. The wizard character whose head you're mostly in... I think you're all in her head. She's engaging and fun and spunky, so. And I like how I like the religious system that the priests use in this world. It's very interesting, and I really want to find out more about it. So yeah, if the author's world building leaves me wanting to find out more about how the world works, then I think they're a successful world builder. So there, I'm just using some yellow and white to highlight, to bring up that russet brown, and bring up the edges there so that we can see them. But yeah, just a little bit of highlight to bring up the edge. To bring out the detail that the belt is there. And at this scale, like, you could do a little bit of stippling to suggest a worn edge if you wanted to. But honestly, at this scale, when you do, it's a little bit gratuitous. Like, you can get away with it, but it's not something you probably would normally see at this scale. But as with all things, there's artistic license, and sometimes with the texturing that we do on 28s, that's a lot of artistic license. I'm going to get this little bit of leather. We're going to be moving through these simpler models pretty fast this summer, I think. So I outlined it, but it was a bit much, so I brought some more of my russet brown in and blended it right away. Yeah, apparently the author has like 2 or 3 other series as well, but I don't know if it's going to be like this. I might kind of glance at them to see. I just really like the D&D vibe on this one, so, and that was exactly what I was looking for, so. Okay, we got 10 or 15 minutes left. I think we're going to move on to the gold. I need to get some of the gold base coated on this sword, and I need to get this little tiny bit of flashing off of it. This is just a troublesome. There it is. Came off. I think. Oh, bye, Crowley. Yep, yep. Yeah, the plan is for Reaper Live being on tonight, since it will not be on tomorrow. We will not be on the Reaper. The Reaper streams are taking. Oh, is Luca on today? Are we getting a Luca invasion? I should check that before I rampage off going late like I have pretty much every day this week. If we've got alpaca invasion today, then he should be on. Alright. Well, then I've only got 7 minutes. And we will just base coat some of this area that's going to be gold. So I underpainted the studs and stuff that are going to be gold with white. And there you are! Say the name and he appears. How you doing, Luca? Did you have a good break? You had a break last week, didn't you? When you guys had the heat wave, we've got the heat wave now. Break was good, yeah. I always worry about you because I know you're prone to burnout. It's good that you took a break. The world will, you know, your alpacas will return to you. You should always take a break when you need it. We'll still love you when you return. Maybe not Quindy. Read first in a series, CSI meets Mythic Fantasy. Interesting. Yeah, I don't usually like it too. Found the Centaur of the Crime. Oh, I've heard of that. I've heard of Centaur of the Crime. If I've heard of that, then it's probably got a pretty good rep. That's funny. Okay. All right. Maybe I'll check it out. Thanks, Turgeon. I actually really like fantasy mystery crossover. So, like I love Glenn Cook's Garrett PI series. I'll still go back and reread the first few of those from time to time. Because I just really loved them when I was a kid. You love Luca more when he's away. Oh no. Oh no, Quindy. Quindy bringing the spice today. Not the horseradish, though. All the other spice. Yes. What Quindy just said is that Reaper Live is a day early. It will be tonight because they're taking the 4th off. John's not going to mess it up. It's far more likely that everybody else messes it up. Understand that John is like given responsibility because he's one of the more competent people at Reaper. Alrighty. And I get that pommel. And then we can get ready to hand it over to the Luca, and I will go off to suffer in this 100 degrees Fahrenheit day. Oh yeah, the 4th is also our anniversary. Good point. Ah, okay. That's cool, Twisted Oma. I was repeating it more for the people who are just kind of half listening, not maybe watching the chat so much, to make sure that they all understood too. Because, you know, if you want those free giveaways, chances are a lot of the regular folks won't have caught the news that it'll be a day early, so you have a chance, right? Maybe we won't have as many viewers, and you'll have more of a chance to win giveaway stuff. So you should all attend. Because winning. Because we all need more miniatures. Wait. Yes, I'll see you Saturday, hopefully, Turgeon. You have a good one. Thanks for the book recommend. Oh, yeah. I think we all turn into worrywarts in our old age. Why do you think I went and lifted weights when it was 85 degrees last night? That's totally me worry-warding about my health. I had fun, though. I was so bouncy. I think everybody else in the gym probably hated me. I'm just going to finish this up. I've got 1 minute to kind of take this mold line that I just realized I missed off of this sword. Scrape, scrape, scrape. And then we can hand it over to the Alpaca Nation. And their lord and master, Luca. Somebody needs to write a fantasy book about alpacas. Like, I'm surprised there isn't one. Maybe there is, and it's just too terrible and I haven't read it. But I'm not going to write that one. I'll write Kuroniko's Werewolf Paladin Romance, but I'm not going to write the Alpaca Fantasy. It's not my topic. Oh yeah, I've decided. I want the Caddyshack ones. I want the Gopher ones. Those are going to be my running, because I wear my tortoiseshell ones. For just normally, like, to normal places. I really need one I like really bright stuff when I'm working out. Like, really bright colors, Laura. So, those are the white frame, I think, with green-blue lenses. And I'm so excited. I promised myself that after I get paid and pay my bills and stuff, I'll buy myself those. Oh, my Gooder website is not wanting to load, however, so I cannot, like, look up the exact name of them. I'll look up the exact name later. But yeah, there's so many really good colors and names. So, absolutely. And they're so reasonably priced. I love that they're not expensive. But they're really, like, mine have been really good, like, as far as they seem very solid and well made. All right, I'm going to hand it over to the alpaca people. Everybody, I hope you have a lovely day. Luca, I hope you have a lovely stream. I will not be on tomorrow because it is Reaper's 32nd anniversary and also the 4th of July here in the USA. And I am going to take Friday off to hang out with my husband for once because he has the day off. And then I will be streaming on my own stream on Saturday on twitch.tv/paintingbig around 3:30 p.m. or 3 p.m. It depends on how soon or late I get to lunch. And I'll see some of you there. Otherwise, we will be back on Monday. And we will be working on Half-Orc Lady, who I really like. She's coming along. She's coming along, guys. All right. Everybody have a lovely day, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.